All right, good morning, and thank you for checking out the channel. This is America Floats, and if you've not yet subscribed, appreciate you doing that. This week we hit over 5,000 on YouTube, twice technically. They remove some every once in a while. It's kind of funny. If you have a good video, they remove a few subscribers. So with that being said, if you've not yet, make sure you click that button, hit your notification bell, and this week the goal is not yet over. We still have Odyssey, BitChute, and Rumble that we're trying to get 1,000 on each. Odyssey's really the goal there. So BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble, if you could, go look at those. For America Floats, that is the goal. Now, why is it that the children are not okay? The kids aren't all right. And I could tell you reasons upon reasons, and I can look down at kids, 10, 15, 20 years younger than me and say, I can tell them all of the reasons that they're wrong and stupid and moronic, but I want to use some better sources than just my own opinions and anecdotes. So from Breitbart yesterday, a new poll saying that 16% of Generation Z identifies as the LGBT QRSWXYZ, and if you want to know why, look at the same percentages, the same percentage blocks for those age groups and see what else are they into. That was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, 16% of the younger generation today thinks that they are in some way not the statistical norm when it comes to sexual orientation, biology, or anything else. The persuasion and genderism and all those things. They want to say that 16% are atypical, abnormal, statistically normative. Trying to be, just nicer than saying weird, the weird kids. The people who were like, the one or two weirdos in band and the one or two really weirdos on the whatever team, in past generations, they just kind of flew under the radar and occasionally got mimicked or mocked or whatever. And that was a life lesson that people had to have their cross to bear, right? Everyone has one. Some have multiple. But now it seems like it's easier for people to coagulate and these groups become identifiable, and now they're identifiers in your identity. And so you can't go to high school without having to determine what's your biology, what's your gender, what's your orientation, what's your kin. Like, they have to identify themselves with all these weird hoops that you didn't have to before. It was just, you were a boy, you were expected that you liked girls unless you said and showed something different, and otherwise people really didn't care. Now it's like, kind of the opposite. And in fact, you've seen this, the glorification of anyone LGBTQ. So it would encourage someone who maybe isn't or wasn't or is just not sure, because a lot of people have in high school that thought of, I don't know what I am. Puberty's a weird time. Not for me, I've always known, but I'm taking that anecdote from them to say, maybe some of these kids wouldn't actually claim it, but right now it's kind of the kitsch cool thing to do. Hey, 16% of it, we're on the rise. So they say the vast majority of Americans identify as hetero. Good. The Gallup survey found that 5.6% of U.S. adults identify as LGBT. Kind of important there. Less than 6% of adults. So how is it 16% of kids? Does 10% of the total population grow out of being trans or gay or whatever in their youth? 10% of... So think about this now. 16% of kids identify as being LGBTQ, and only 6% of adults. It's very easy math. The 10% of those kids, so 2/3 of the kids who identify as LGBTQ will not be as adults. 2/3 of the kids who right now, in this photo, 2/3 of those children, when they are adults, will not still identify this way. So first point to note, so that 16% is still a large block of people. That's a large piece of any population, over 10%. So I just looked for other similar percentages from now and from past generations to see what other kind of fads or subcultures teens got into. Of course, you remember gothism, early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, the gas station earrings and chains and metal and your wallet on your chain and stuff. And so these goth kids, you saw a lot of that. South Park had a good time making fun of the goth kids. 12% of kids strongly identified with being goth. Not 12% of adults still doing that, right? Probably not even 2%. So you would say, okay, at least the 10% of the population that at one point was into it now is not, right? A fad that died out. What about obesity? Another big block that is very similar to that percentage of kids. And remember, we're looking at this photo. I have yet to point out that all of them are also obese. We're just talking about, well, okay, this one's maybe a little bit leaner. This guy doesn't look obese. These people are all overweight. So I'm looking for similar groups, similar population packages, these groups of people that say, I'm LGBTQ. And they also happen to fall into this group of people who happen to be a little bit overweight. From the USA Today, a teen social media study found that about 16% of teens hide social media accounts. They have hidden content in hidden or duplicated or Finstagrams, right? They have fake accounts that they use for whatever social purposes. The point is, though, these people, and I'm saying these people as the subset of the 15 to 20% of the younger population that has this problem that they're not articulating it, they're not really identifying it, they're just exhibiting the symptoms of it in multiple facets of life through their identity. They have no self-esteem, so they let themselves look the way that they do in public in that photo. They don't have pride, so they scream how proud they are of something that they know would otherwise be a shame. And what they'll then do is go on social media and create accounts that they know they have to hide. They're hiding parts of their identity that they don't agree with and screaming them aloud at the same time because they're told in kinds of propaganda, Disney, Nickelodeon, etc., that the hero has to scream out what their thing is and then everyone will be happy for them. So they're being led down this bramble path of obesity and unhappiness and no joy in their life because they'll have mutilated themselves physically and they'll be left what? Very unhappy would be my guess. Now, I say that they'll be unhappy because you have doctors and schools and everyone in between telling people that now you can be healthy at every size. Remember, this is nothing new, right? And you've seen the messaging from the Health at Every Size, community page. You understand as well as I do that the Health at Every Size thing is a trademark. It's a branding. They're selling this just like the white hate lady is selling, Robin DiAngelo is selling her stuff. Linda Bacon, this person, this born lady who now refers to herself as Lindo, they, them, is a nutritionist. And we've been over this person before, so I don't have to go into too much of an elaboration on them. But this is one of the people who is pushing children to become obese in their young age, saying you can be healthy at every level. You can be healthy at every size. Just go ahead and sign the pledge. By the way, only, you see this number at the top? Less than 20,000 people signing the pledge to be fat and unhappy the rest of their lives. But Linda wants you to do it because she'll be paid for it, and then she'll come and do a speaking engagement. Never mind that kids are fat. Linda's going to tell them to be healthy at any size, no matter what. And then you're surprised when you have kids marching out like this. Now, you want to tell me that I'm being too harsh, that I'm being too critical, or that I'm making a lot of really dangerous assumptions because people don't regret this stuff. This says, on the note of teens being concerned about third parties or people they did not intend for content to come across to then have their information, they said 26 to 14%. Students posting updates, comments, photos, or videos that they later regret. So very much or somewhat, 26 and 14%. So there's a pretty good chunk of kids there who go and post things online, say things they say in their social media, and then regret it. Does that have any impact then on people who later go and create an account that they hide? Does the regret have anything to do with looking this way and talking this way and being this way in general? When you know 16% of the kids identify this way today and only 6% of the adults, not even 6% of adults, still feel that way, there's a very simply done math equation to determine what's the number of people that drop out of feeling that way. And then when they do they regret it and do they go back and delete it? Can you delete a bottom surgery? No. And that's why this book got removed. So in the censorship conversation of all of this, don't think that it's just about weight or just about being gay, because this book, and he's not the only one, right? When Harry Became Sally, responding to the transgender moment, that is the book I'm referring to by Ryan Anderson. He's not alone in writing the anti-trans or trans exclusionary books. You've also seen this article from Men's Health. Joe Rogan spreading transphobic hate speech because he had Abigail Shrier on his program to discuss how women's sports are being torn down by allowing trans male athletes into, or trans female athletes into a female sport. Don't even have to go into the Zubies of the world to explain why that is true. But you have Men's Health telling you Joe Rogan is hateful because he wants women to play women's sports and men to play men's sports. And the fact that he would have another person say that on his program, oh, that's evil, that's hate. They're brainwashing kids and they won't let them see the truth. A kid can go on Amazon and buy this book that tells them all the different real, factual, historical, empirically evidentiary reasons for why it would be bad to get any kind of hormones or surgery or anything else, because you'll be one of those 2/3 of people who don't identify as it as an adult. This book explains that. Amazon bans it, gets rid of the book entirely. That's why I'm making this, because I see this headline of the poll saying 16%, and I see a book that gets banned for exposing the dangers of pushing transgenderism. And then you see, well, you got Men's Health toeing the line, not being very healthy for men or women. And then I just have to highlight Linda Bacon, because, I mean, healthy at every size. What about healthy in every look? What about some lotion, Linda? So that's my thought there. I know I sound very critical, and I am, because I want people to do well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, help me keep America afloat.